Hey everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to part 2 of my review of DC Rebirth Holiday Special number 1 that came out in 2016. Now, this was this was priced at $9.99, and for good reason. It's a holiday special. This contains essentially 11 stories, but the first one is called A Very Harley Holiday, and that is all throughout the book. It's basically Harley Quinn hosting a holiday Christmas get-together for all of DC. And she interjects her comments between almost every story. Now, the first one was a Superman-Batman story, which was just adorable. And so, now, let's get back to A Very Harley Holiday. And you can see her there, just showing off herself. She's holding on to the TV set. Yes, an actual TV set, not one of the new, wall sets, but this is a TV, as you can see the knobs on it and everything. Season sleeting, Santa Claus, ha ha. And that's Mr. Freeze and Captain Cold there, and I'm not sure who's in the middle. Great gumdrops, those villains have frozen my reindeer. Christmas is ruined. And Harley says, another holiday mainstay is the cute cartoon Christmas special. I happen to have a classic queued up right here. And this is so funny. I mean, this is hysterical. She says, not to worry, Mr. C. I borrowed some mutt muscle from the guy next door. So who do you think's coming to the rescue? Ouch! Curses! Sobbed Nora. Christmas is ruined! And that's an elf drawn in the style of the old Santa Claus is Coming to Town special. Came out several decades ago. But I still can't fly. All the reindeer have colds. And there's Harley Quinn coming to save the day. Comment, Kringle. Krypto has agreed to be your super sled dog. Harley Quinn saves the day. And so he says, mush, puppy. And Krypto's happy to help. Arf! And she looks back, and as the TV's playing, it says, you're going too fast. She says, speaking of wintry whimsy, I'm reminded of another tale of a dog and his boy. So here we move over to the Smith family farm upstate. For the dog who has everything. Yes, another story with the Smith family. John says, Mom, Dad, do you think Krypto knows he's not a real dog? Lois says, trust me, John, he's real. I've got the slobbered on Labouting to prove it. He says, I mean like Kryptonian. And John goes on, he's probably had hints that he wasn't normal, like weird flashes of super hearing or x-ray vision that made him think he was going crazy. But I bet he didn't really know how different he was until that thing with the Eradicator. And Lois says in almost a sarcastic tone, poor Pooch, that sounds like a lot to deal with. Plus, you and I had that run-in with Intergang, your powers are kicking in. Your dad took up the Superman mantle again. This has been a pretty stressful year for Krypto. And John says, this year has been insane for Krypto. And Clark chimes in saying, we haven't gotten the Mutt of Steel his Christmas present yet. You want to see if we can find our furry friend something to take his mind off things? John pipes up and says, we're going to the mall? Clark says, I've got an even better idea. Later, at the Fortress of Solitude, John says, I thought you said you had a better idea. Superman says, the Fortress of Solitude is the greatest depository of ancient alien artifacts in the known multiverse. John says, the mall smells like Cinnabons. He says, alright, well, you've got me there. And that's Killix, the caretaker. He says, son, there's something I want to show you. No alien menaces this time. I promise. So he takes him to another part of the Fortress of Solitude, and he says, the trophy room. I don't want you to think of your heritage as a burden. As the last surviving member of our race, we're often asked by our enemies to answer for Krypton's crimes. But Krypton is so much more than its mistakes. It's hundreds of years of art, science, culture. This is its history. It's your history. Krypto's too. Dad, you've got more toys in here than Santa's workshop. Because he's going through, speeding through the place, just checking it out. And then he takes him to this part of the Fortress of Solitude. I recognize those three outfits. I'm pretty sure this was from the Silver Age, possibly. John says, whoa, is that what I think it is? Sure is. The one that started it all. That's what I was wearing when I met your mother. John says, when I first started wearing... the Superman says, when I first started wearing that uniform, I felt like the S might as well be a target, the way it riled up bad seeds from all over the multiverse. John asks, why'd you keep putting it on? Because I didn't wear it to make other people happy. I wore it because it made me feel close to my Kryptonian ancestry. He says, for all the powers I have, there are sounds in the Kryptonian alphabet I still can't get my mouth to make without unhinging a jaw with my hands first. Ha! He says, I may have the bulletproof skin of a Kryptonian, but I have the tongue of a Kansas corn farmer. He kneels down and says to John, for a long time, years after I earned the title Superman, I still felt like a fraud. I didn't quite know how to be a Kryptonian. I didn't quite know how to be an Earthling. All I knew how to be was myself. But you know what? That turned out to be more than enough. And John's looking up at this suit, and he says, I have the coolest idea in the world. And so they're back at the farm, and Krypto's opening his present, and he looks at it wondering what it is. And John's there, and he says, "It's Dad's old belt from when he was the only super guy. We used heat vision to shorten it down to collar size." He goes, and John goes on, "I know sometimes because you're not like other dogs, you feel like you're alone. But it's okay. I'm alone too. And so is Dad, and maybe even Mom. But we're all alone together. I think that's what family is." And he clicks it shut, and all three of them are in this panel. And Krypto looks him. John says, "I love you too, bud. Merry Christmas." A shot of Superman, Lois, John, and Krypto all together. The end. Well, that's it for part 2. I thought that was a very touching story. And it also continued the theme from the first story, featuring Superman and Batman, that Jonathan feels, out of place here in this world. And I think that's also a message that maybe the writers tried to convey to the readers, to let the readers know that you're not alone, that there is somebody out there, your family, perhaps your friends, who can help you through the holiday if you do need help. So, if you're a new visitor to my channel, please do subscribe and smash the bell like She-Hulk so you'll be notified of all new uploads. Also, like this video and share it. I'm Michael for Spirit Comics. Till next time, true readers.